even though I did a hell of a lot of damage in his main, killing spore crawlers right as they were built before he could cancel them, and killing a bunch of his workers and keeping them off of gas and minerals, our macro levels are still relatively close at this point. It looks like I've outproduced him a little bit here, but he's pumping units pretty much as fast as I am, and our bases are about equal. But I've got tanks with Marines and medevacs to kind of take the hits, I guess, even though I don't have combat shield upgrades on the Marines. I just was building them to use up my spare minerals. And this is kind of a hodgepodge group of units for me, but since I had no clear idea of what I was going to do after the Banshee, the crazy early Banshee attack, I just kind of built a bunch of units and said, hey, I'll run over there and see what he's got. And the siege mode tanks did most of the work there. The Banshees obviously are very strong too. As long as he doesn't have any mutas, then continuing to pump Banshees is a good thing. I built a couple of Vikings just as an insurance policy in case he starts going mutas. I at least have them and some Marines to help until I can fully start macroing my AA. So I won that battle pretty handily, and he doesn't have a lot left. He expanded to the high yield, but a little bit too late. The Banshees themselves were obviously, the early Banshees were obviously the key to this win. But the reason that the game wasn't closer even after he fought me off is because Zerg really needs to out-macro Terran. I've touched on this in games in the past. But if you're a Zerg, you need to get the macro jump on your Terran opponent. That's just kind of how the races are built. I mean, this isn't Warcraft 3. The 4 races aren't exactly the same, just with different graphics and slightly different stats. These races are truly different. Very, very different, and that's why they're only keeping them at 3 races and not adding more. The Zerg versus Terran is just... there's a huge difference between the two playstyles. As Zerg, you can control the map at the start, generally, if you do things right, and get the macro advantage on your Terran opponent. If you don't do that, even if you have the same economy as your Terran opponent, unless you pulled off some sort of a hard counter to his units, which is hard to do as Zerg, you're gonna lose. You have to get that early economy advantage, and the early Banshees that I got kept him from doing that, so that won the game. If you guys do want to try out this strategy, again, the build is 9 refinery, 10 barracks, 11 factory, 11 orbital command, which is key. If you don't get that orbital command early, then you're really going to be hurting for minerals. So 11 orbital command, and then 11 starport. Build the tech lab on your factory, switch the factory with your starport as soon as the starport's done, and then pump out your first Banshee. Right before you did that, you should have had enough minerals to start building a supply depot. Go back and watch the replay to catch the build order if you want to get it. It's on scaudios.com. Until next time, this is Endrick.